Let us begin by me saying welcome. How good to be together again through this wonder of technology that lets us see each other's faces and appreciate each other and miss each other terribly. It is really, really good to be together and to feel that sense of togetherness. We have new folks here. Welcome to you. Glad you're finding a home among us. I hope all of you spread the word freely about these services to anybody you know that might need some inspiration or community or togetherness. Thanks to all who have found us and are continuing to support this wonderful community, a progressive and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to celebrating life, empowering people, caring for one another, and helping to build a better world. Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss a service. These are recorded and edited and improved, so if you ever do miss one, you can come back and watch it later. Linda's been on a roll of watching old services, she confessed, which is just nice to hear that people are going back and enjoying them. Thank you for that. Good news for our social justice project, which was to try and turn out the vote in Georgia with Reclaim Our Vote. We went through all 2,000 postcards. Some of you might still be filling those out. They're supposed to go out tomorrow. Bows for your energy and activism. Thank you for doing that. Fingers crossed. And how good it is to feel like we're not just praying for a good outcome, but doing something about it. Speaking of good activism, lots of folks have responded to our ongoing plea for warm clothes for our friends and neighbors on the street whom we feed on Saturday mornings. Keep it coming. Coats, socks, underwear, basic things like that, deeply appreciated. A couple of folks have bought whole boxes of sleeping bags. A whole boxes of socks is out there right now, so I think we're going to be kind of a go-to place to keep people warm in what is sure to be a long and cold winter. So thank you for all of that. And I think that's all the announcements for now. Be sure to visit our webpage, make a donation, or make or up your pledge if you haven't in some time. That's much appreciated. And also, if you have not filled out your Realm profile, which is our new community software that helps us communicate with each other and do a good job of reaching out to people, I would ask you to please visit that link on the website as well. And I will now then call us into worship with these words, if I can find them. Isn't that beautiful? From Anne Hillman. We look with uncertainty beyond the old choices for clear-cut answers to a softer, more permeable aliveness which is every moment at the brink of death. For something new is being born in us if we but let it. We stand at a new doorway, awaiting that which comes, daring to be human creatures, vulnerable to the beauty of existence, and learning to love. Let's do that together now as we open our worship with beautiful music.
Our chalice this morning will be lit by Reverend Christe, and this is the reading. Let this be a place of warm and gentle silence, the silence that soothes and comforts the wounded, the silence that yields insights into heart and soul, the silence that calms, the silence that listens, the silence that speaks, the silence that renews. Let this be a place of warm and gentle silence.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
And I'll ask you to join me in this reading from one of our great prophets of the Unitarian tradition, the Transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson. When we're together live, I would read the plain text and you the bold, but you can read as much or as little as you want, and I'll read all of it with and for you. The Oversoul. Let us learn the revelation of all nature and thought, that the highest dwells within us, that the sources of nature are in our own minds. As there is no screen or ceiling between our heads and the infinite heavens, so there is no bar or wall in the soul where we, the effect, cease, and God, the cause, begins. I am constrained at every moment to acknowledge a higher origin for events than the will I call mine. There is deep power in which we exist, and whose beatitude is accessible to us. Every moment when the individual feels invaded by it is memorable. It comes to the lowly and simple. It comes to whosoever will put off what is foreign and proud. It comes as insight. It comes as serenity and grandeur. The soul's health consists in the fullness of its reception. Forever and ever, the influx of this better and more universal self is new and unsearchable. Within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. When it breaks through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affections, it is love.
But each person is worthwhile, to be kind in all you do. Three, let's help each other grow, for keep searching for the true. Five, each person has a say. Six, for a peaceful world. Seven, unravel that's the way that will bring us back to you.
Good morning, folks. It is so wonderful to be back here doing Time for All Ages with y'all. My name is Capone, and I am the Director of Religious Education here at UUCSR. As you may have noticed, December is here, and despite a global pandemic, the busyness and excitement of the holiday season seems unperturbed by these unprecedented times. While we as adults feel the pressure of the season through scheduling, shopping, and coordination of whose parents will be visited on Christmas, although maybe not this year, I am always reminded that kids are just as susceptible to the collective anxiety of December, if not more so. Before I became DRE here at UUCSR, I was a preschool teacher for several years. My time in the position has taught me many things and also showed me that regardless of background, there are universal truths about young kids that you simply don't see unless you observe them en masse for several years. One of these truths is that anticipation, despite all of its joy, is at its core a form of anxiety. When I was teaching, almost every kid I worked with celebrated Christmas. And from the instant Thanksgiving was over, all the kids could talk about was Santa and presents. Their parents, too, would dress them in Christmas clothes every day and ask them on a daily basis, "Are you excited for Christmas?" And if you were to graph the amount of times a child said Santa or Christmas and compared it to the difficult behavior and rough days the kids had, you would see a correlation of true statistical beauty. Without a doubt, the kids who were the most excited for Christmas were the ones most likely to have meltdowns, get in fights, and need to take breaks from playing with their friends. The problem was that these kids were stuck in a celebratory limbo, exhausted from feeling excited, but with no concept of when their anticipation would pay off. We often forget, but to a younger child, a month is an impossibly long amount of time, and one that they will struggle to build a frame of reference for. That is why during the holidays, it is so incredibly important to not only acknowledge the anxiety faced by children, and to be honest, by ourselves, but to give them the tools and space to step away from that anxiety. As you'll see in a moment, we practice deep breathing today in RE, using excerpts from a book called Alphabreaths. This book uses delightful imagery and simple meditations to help its listeners center themselves. So please join the kids of RE as we take a moment to find stillness among the busyness of the holidays. This story is called Alphabreaths, the ABCs of mindful breathing. Now, we're not going to do all the letters because that would be too much, but we're going to spell out a word. I wonder if you guys will be able to figure out what the word is. Hugging breaths. Close your eyes. Give yourself a hug. And gently breathe in and out. O. O is for oatmeal breath. Everyone get a bowl of oatmeal ready. Breathe in and imagine you are smelling a bowl of hot oatmeal. Ooh, my oatmeal has cinnamon in it. Then breathe out like you are blowing on your oatmeal to cool it off. Yum. L is for lion breath. Breathe in, feeling brave and strong like a lion. Breathe out, letting out a powerful but quiet roar. If you guys want to unmute and do that one together, we can. Breathe in, brave and strong, and then breathe out in a powerful roar. I is for breath. Sit very still, like you are frozen in ice. Notice how your body moves as you breathe in. Dolphin breath. Breathe in as you lift your arms up high. Breathe out as you imagine diving into the ocean. A is for alligator breath. Open your arms wide like alligator jaws on the breathe in. Yank them shut on the outer breath. Oh. Ugh. Big, strong alligator mouth. Why is my yawning breath? Breathe in a big, mindful yawn. Paying attention to all the sensations you feel. And let your breath out.
Spelled holiday.
It spells holidays with an S. S is for superhero breath. Breathe in and imagine you are a superhero. Breathe out and imagine how you will help someone. So Jake, you already told us, what did our letters spell out? Did anyone else figure it out? Yeah, Owen.
Holidays.
Holidays. Did you know that too, Jasper? Holidays. Because during the holidays, it can get busy, but we can always find time to take a This story is so thank you everyone Alphabreaths for joining us in that calming moment of meditation and breathing.
Let's say together our unison affirmation, shall we? You all know it. We are Unitarian, Universalists, people of the open minds, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. Thank you, Era, for that great book and for taking such good care of our families and our children. We have an announcement now from Ellaine Wellin, who I see here. Hi, Ellaine, who's going to tell us something about our Share the Basket program. No baskets these days, but we're still sharing.
Hello, I'm Ellaine Wellin, Chair of UUCSR's Advocates for Social Justice, and this is to make a request about our Share the Offering each week. We support our own Saturday breakfast 2 to 3 weeks each month, and on alternate weeks, the share goes to an organization in the community. As you may know, the recipients of our Share the Offering donations are suggested by you, our congregants. In pre-COVID times, you could find a place to put your suggestion at our advocates table each Sunday after services. So how can you make a suggestion now with no advocates at the table in the hallway? You can contact advocates, and better, anyone on the SHARE committee. Members are Paul Brockman, Sergei Zimbarov, Lynn Riepenhoff, and me, Ellaine Wellin. Email or call. Our contact information is in Realm and hard copy directories. Now, with your suggestion of a worthy recipient, we need your help. First, especially this year, when so many are experiencing unexpected hardships, we urge you to think of a SHARE recipient organization that will support our community in basic needs, such as food, shelter, economic support, and the like. Second, for tax reasons, a recipient must be a 501c3 tax-exempt organization under the IRS code. If you're unsure, ask your organization. Someone there knows if they're a 501c3 nonprofit. Third, a focus on need, basic need, is not to exclude environmental recipient organizations, cultural diversity organizations, or any other whose work you wish to support, and even more importantly, those you'd like to see us continue to support. And finally, we need your help and knowledge to learn about and vet the organization, and to find the right person at your suggested organization to represent their work for our congregation. The Share the Offering process allows our donations to the community to follow and reflect our principles and the values of our congregation, your values and thoughts. So we urge you to let us know about a recipient that you think is especially worthy of our collective support. Contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellaine, and thanks everybody for participating in that and keeping our generous reputation intact. Today we are taking our collection for our own Saturday breakfast program. Again, as most of you know, a team of folks come together on Friday and put together brown bag lunches with sandwiches, fruit, some chips, a beverage, some protein bars and that kind of thing for later in the day, and hand those out on Saturday morning along with warm clothes these days. We're having to purchase almost all of that stuff naturally, so your donation really makes a big difference. I should play a little music right now, so you could go right to the website and do it, but I trust that you will at the end of this service, and I think we'll start doing that in future services, taking a few minutes to actually engage in this act of giving that we celebrate. If you just go to our website and click Give Now and follow the instructions that appear on the screen, you'll see Saturday breakfast as one of the choices to give today. Thank you very much for your continuing support of that good program and the congregation as a whole. And in anticipation of those gifts, let's say together our dedication offering. It's very simple. We say, to the work of creating beloved community within and beyond our walls, we dedicate these offerings and ourselves.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Kezur, one of your lay chaplains. Milestones are where we share our joys and sorrows with the congregation. You are invited to light a candle to remember those you are holding near to your hearts. These are the milestones for this week. Clelly Gummer is very thankful for surviving the pandemic for 9 months without being sick or losing her mind. Very helpful have been the online church services, coffee hours, and the lay chaplain's bi-weekly meeting, and the meeting of the older and bolder ladies. All have helped in maintaining her connection to others, which has been very necessary. Many thanks to all who make these things possible. Mary Wolf would like to share that she has decided to retire next year, giving herself a birthday present. She is so grateful to have this long career as a caregiver. Roger De Beers reports, surgery went well. I got my eye patch off today after 6 days of very limited vision. I can see again, to read and write, and Roger Jr. was a great help. Linda and Alan Prue celebrated 35 years together on November 16th. We're still smiling after all these years. Linda has just about recovered from her surgery for endometrial cancer and so appreciates all of your cards, emails, and messages of support. She started chemotherapy on December 1st and will be going through a series of 6 treatments over the next 5 months or so. Please continue to send her your good thoughts and prayers. Natalie Brundred found out Friday that her 91-year-old mother, her sister, and brother-in-law all have COVID from a Thanksgiving visit to her mother. Please pray that they all recover quickly without being too deeply ill and have no lasting effects from the illness. If you have something to share with all or private concern to talk over with a lay chaplain, please contact us at laychaplains@uusantarosa.org. We give thanks for the sharing of these milestones, for how they remind us of our shared humanity and our common fate, and inspire our compassion and care. May all our joys be magnified as we delight together in the good news. May all our sorrows be eased as we carry them together in community. And may you who are searching for courage, comfort, faith, and love find what you seek. Go in peace, take care, and stay well.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you to all our lay chaplains for helping keep us connected in this time. All right, we're going to be still together for a little bit and actually meditate, which is what we'll be talking about as the service unfolds. So no time like the present to get into that mode. First, I'll say a few words of prayer and then ring this beautiful bell. And we will sit in silence together for a little while. And I guess I'll just say, the main tool for meditation is this wonderful gift that we have of our own breath. As Era and that book earlier expressed, it is really the primary focus of so many mindfulness and meditation techniques. And it has many advantages to being the thing upon which we will rest our attention as we rest our minds. One, you're going to do it anyway, whether you pay attention to it or not. And it has the advantage of being something that is both self-directed. You can choose to take a great big alligator breath, but also it will direct itself. And so as we achieve stillness, the breath just kind of takes over its natural energies, and that's a thing we can ride and follow along. And so with all the other extras, most meditation comes down simply to sitting up straight, paying attention, being both alert and relaxed, and just attending to the breath. You can just do that. If you find your thoughts are very, very busy, you can also count your breaths, which will use just enough mind energy to keep you focused and let you have that feeling of stillness. So with that preparation in mind, first, I say, Holy Spirit of life and love, I feel you and know that you are present here among us, this gathered body. Though we are scattered to the winds, we feel connected through the joy on our faces when we greet each other and these words and songs that we share. And we give thanks for this day and this opportunity to feel again the blessings of community and friendship, which we are yearning for. These are hard and lonely times, and we seek to continue to keep our eyes and our spirits open to the blessings and the beauty around us, saying thank you out loud to the many good things we see and receive, even in the midst of great hardship. We are filled with love and care today for those among us who are facing illnesses and hard treatments like chemotherapy, difficulties of these times of being alone and being frightened. Give us all courage and the willingness to keep reaching out to each other and doing what we can to lift each other up. There are many on our minds, family members, close friends who have COVID. We are praying for their swift recovery, as well for anybody suffering from any illness or disease right now. Let there be healing wherever there can be. And we are grateful for those who work so hard to tend to others and support them, give them courage and strength in these hard times. Bless our teachers, bless our parents, bless those of us who have to live with the fear of difficult health conditions all the way around. We're praying for the leaders of our county and state and land to do the right thing, that we might overcome these difficulties and this awful pandemic as quickly as possible. Let wisdom and intelligence prevail, we pray. Though we are aware as well as human beings that we do not always turn to our wisdom and intelligence, but to selfishness and foolishness. And we ask that we can overcome these limitations in ourselves as well, opening again to forgiveness and kindness, awareness and love. May all beings be happy and at ease. May we know the beautiful stillness that is already waiting for us within, that is you, O Spirit of life. And this we pray as we move into silence together, saying Amen and blessed be.
People ask me, when did you start meditating and why? I remember well sitting in my doctor's office and bursting into tears because my life was too much with me, as Shakespeare said. It felt like work and family made endless demands, and whatever I did was never enough. He turned to me and said, "You need a stress reduction class, and I'm offering one starting Wednesday evening. Be there." I trusted him, and I trusted my body wisdom, and so I showed up. He taught us breath meditation and gave us a cassette tape to take home and practice. I returned each week for 4 weeks and continued the practice at home. That was years ago. I learned primordial sound meditation. I tried walking meditation. When I swam laps, I found the same peace I found by sitting at 5:30 in the morning and listening to the sounds of the day begin and the lovely dawn chorus of birds. The practice came and went over the last 30 years, but for the last 5 or 6 years, it has definitely been daily. I sit in my meditation sewing room and calm my harried brain. I still take on too many tasks and make too many promises. But in those 20 minutes of silence, I find peace and inner strength. I find stillness and space. It is a powerful drug, an antidote to our crazed, data-driven world. In that space, I don't have to choose fight or flight. I can just be still. And in the stillness, surprises always come. I find answers to problems. A new quilt design appears to inspire me. And I can let go of jobs and chores that really are not necessary. About 4 years ago, I joined one of the sanghas at our congregation, led by Rose St. John. Before that, I didn't know the joy of meditating with others. We read books together and discuss them. We explore complex Buddhist concepts, but please don't test me on the vocabulary. Mostly, we ponder how to bring the lessons of the Buddha into our lives. What am I clinging to, and can I let go? Can I practice loving kindness for all beings? One of my personal favorite mantras is, "May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am." When we read about reincarnation, I found myself deciding that the trajectory of our lives involves many reincarnations. We are one person as a child, another as a young adult, then parent, career, and now trying to find wisdom in aging as our bodies change, and we try not to see that only as loss. In the Quilt Guild that I belong to, we have a challenge each year. Last year, it was to use the monkey wrench block and make a 12 by 12 piece inspired by the phrase, "When life throws you a monkey wrench." The challenge was set in January, and little did we know what 2020 would bring. Here is the block I created. 2 cornerstones of my life are being in nature and meditation. You see here a bridge over a stream, anchored by the monkey wrench blocks, and the path to a generous tree whose branches feature the words of another meditation mantra. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. In this season of stillness and anticipation, I wish all of the above for you.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
It is dark and wintry and cold and a little barren right now. There is literally less light. The sun is setting before 5 p.m. But that's not the only reason it feels like the dark of winter, the news of the surge, the threat that this pandemic continues to represent to all of us, this Thanksgiving that we had to spend alone or with only a fraction of the people around the table that we might have otherwise enjoyed. Not to mention the ongoing uncertainty in our politics, the desperate state of many who are out of work or trying to work from home, and the deep stress of trying to keep those children happy and learning in front of their computer screens. None of us wants this or prefers this state of affairs, but it is where we are. And since we have almost no choice about or control over what's happening around us outside our doors, the spiritual work of this moment, I might argue, is primarily within. As we seek to cultivate awareness and openness and love, even in the dark of winter. And you'll notice from that beautiful song that it is not a lament, though it has a bit of a somber tone. Reverend Sofia Betancourt, who was one of the 3 presidents of the Unitarian Universalist Association at the same time after the former president, Peter Morales, stepped down. She is inviting us to stillness and quiet within which we might discover actually all the treasures of living, our own deeper, wiser self, and through that directly know the great mystery itself, love eternal. This is a unique opportunity in these dark times to cultivate real stillness and quiet in our life, which is to say, to practice meditation, by which I mean any of those practices that slow us down, encouraging centering and alert relaxation, and clear-eyed curiosity about our own experience and the world around us. And there are many ways to do this. The one that I'm most familiar with is simply still sitting, working with the breath, but you can use a mantra. People do walking meditation. There are many forms. And this is one of those services where I'm going to remember the preaching advice of my homiletics teacher, Reverend Thomas Michelson. The worship associates know this bit of teaching well, that every service should have a coherent message. It should fit on a Post-it note. And don't be afraid to use the word should, which is anathema to many Unitarian Universalists who don't like to be told what to do, even if it's good for them. But today, I will use that word. You should meditate. Listen, a little goes a long way. I myself only sit for about 15 or 20 minutes in the morning in between the crossword puzzle and starting to roll out my legs in preparation for my morning walk. And that dose, just that amount of time, is enough to remind me of all of the good things of which Reverend Betancourt sang. Now, I just want to say I know one of the most common excuses is I can't sit still that long. But friends, if you're going to sit there through this hour and 15-minute service, then you can definitely sit in meditation for 15 or 20 minutes. Perhaps the secret, my should notwithstanding, is to not think of this as a discipline, a practice, which it is, and of which it is mostly spoken, in the spiritual literature. But sometimes that feels like we're adding another thing on our to-do list or another thing to worry about. I've got the whole pandemic, and now I'm supposed to be meditating. I didn't meditate yesterday. Now I feel bad. Don't think of it that way, as a discipline or a practice. Think of it perhaps as a gift, a treat, your Christmas present to yourself every single day, to touch again that quiet within and hear the still small voice. On some Zoom call with people checking in about how things were going with the pandemic, I wish I could remember who said this, that at some point they just decided, all right, there's absolutely nothing I can do about what's happening out there. So instead of hating not going to the art museum, I'm going to love the chance to be quiet and in my solitude and cultivate my spiritual gifts. What a nice reframing to think of what looks like it may be another year apart from each other, to treat this as an extended meditation retreat. And as hard as it will be, it's not the hardest extended meditation retreat that people choose for themselves. I was, in thinking about this, reminded of a Tibetan practice of a 3-year retreat. This is actually kind of become widespread in the West as a sort of monastery intensive, in particular for Western students. But in several lineages of Tibetan Buddhism, there is a practice of a 3-year retreat done in either two forms, one where you just do all 3 years straight in a row, another where you do a year, come out into the world, do another year, come out into the world, and do your final year. I was looking up some of the requirements at a Tibetan temple or meditation center here in the States, and, you know, it sounds pretty intense, particularly the one little sentence that was just among the many other instructions which told potential applicants that they have to sleep in their meditation box. This is a little box you pack yourself in with pillows so that you can meditate all day long with your readings in front of you and your candles and so forth. And at night, you simply lean your head back and sleep while meditating. Can you imagine that? Remember, these people are choosing to do this. This is not a punishment. It's something that they're picking to do in order to experience great awakening and peace. And of course, there are times in such a retreat where I imagine even the most devoted Lama-to-be thinks like, oh, I just want to go out and get some dumplings. But the work is so fruitful that what we would take to be great hardship, they choose anyway. Now, I'm not a Tibetan Buddhist. My practice is Zen. We see things a little bit differently, thank God. We say one moment of meditation wipes away beginningless crimes. So all you actually have to do it is just tomorrow. And if you want, you can say, good to go. The value of meditation cannot be overstated. It gives us a chance to learn how to actually relax, how to quiet the endless stream of thoughts in our head that gets called the monkey mind. Through repetition of the stories and emotional patterns and thoughts that arise inevitably as we sit, we get to actually know ourselves. What are we afraid of? What do we obsess over? What are we grieving? And the paying attention to that, and including in particular paying attention to the body, as I spoke of some weeks ago in the resilience service, that is literally a healing act, a psychosomatic healing act. Over time, those patterns get eroded and they no longer have as strong of an impact on us. We experience ourselves as able to be fresh and improvisational in the moment, with a core of calm that over time comes to feel inviolable. Because if you do it as a gift to yourself, as a treat, gradually you find that part of yourself that is like the sky, unharmed by the clouds and storms of thoughts and feelings that occasionally rage within it. And that sky-like quality in us, which you have already right now, if you can think of yourself, you have it. That is our true nature. A wide open field, limitless, ungraspable, and endlessly pregnant with possibility. And in that place, we actually see and feel the interconnected web as it is manifesting in you. Yes, nothing less than the complete spiritual journey, including the highest goal of knowing the kingdom of heaven within you in 15 minutes on your couch or cushion. From the still small voice within to the oneness of everything, as Emerson invited us to see in that reading, The Oversoul, to know that our own minds, right now, and the cosmic mind are one. He said, within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. Doesn't that sound like a good Christmas present? Doesn't that sound like something that might help us get through the dark of winter? I hope you see it that way. And so I invite you, please, don't just do something. Sit there and savor the stillness and the silence of this season. May it be so.
reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony in an architecture so entwined. The birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love's expanding. The message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings. In the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lies long past that touch our own are written in the earth ever giving. And now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living. For the oneness of everything. Still, we seek to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms defined. Vast and immeasurable time, space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years, just might I know the faith that winters in the heart to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
Our closing words are from Pico Iyer, an esteemed travel writer who also wrote a little gem of a book called The Art of Stillness, Adventures in Going Nowhere. He writes, "In an age of speed, I began to think nothing could be more invigorating than going slow. In an age of distraction, nothing can feel more luxurious than paying attention. And in an age of constant movement, nothing is more urgent than sitting still. You can go on vacation to Paris or Hawaii or New Orleans, and you'll have a tremendous time, I'm sure. But if you want to come back feeling new, alive and full of fresh hope and in love with the world, I think the place to visit may be nowhere.